My name is Sarah Woodbury, and we're taking a break from our regularly scheduled videos to talk about my new novel, Chevalier, the second book in the Welsh Guard mysteries.
What's the setting for this particular book, and how is it different than the other series you've written?
I have the After Chevalier series, which is set in the time of Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, begins in 1282. And then I have the Gareth and Gwens, which are mysteries like the Welsh Guard mysteries, and they are set 150 years earlier. The key to these books is that they are also set in the 13th century after the Norman conquest of Wales. Crouchback, which was the first book, was set in 1284. Chevalier takes place a few months later. Chevalier is a murder mystery, so that's the basis of it, but it is set during a tournament that King Edward put on to celebrate his victory over the Welsh. And what's more, this tournament is in the spirit of King Arthur. King Edward was a King Arthur fanboy. I don't know how many people know that, but he did a whole bunch of stuff to align himself with King Arthur, and also to be seen as the heir to King Arthur's throne.
How closely do you try to stick to historical facts versus fiction?
Right. And what I usually say is that my books are as historically accurate as I can make them, except when they're not. In this case, I'm sticking really closely to historical facts. And one of the cool things about Chevalier, and compared to many of my other books, is that we know a lot about King Edward's whereabouts during this time. So King Edward deliberately destroyed many of the sheaths, the Welsh palaces, destroyed many of the records, trying to expunge a whole bunch of Welsh history from history with real intent. I mean, that was on purpose. But he himself was a meticulous record keeper. So we do know, for example, that King Edward held a tournament, a martial tournament from July 27th to 29th, 1284. The purpose of this tournament was to celebrate his conquest over the Welsh, and he invited all of his nobles from Ireland and Scotland and England and the Normans from Wales to join him in this incredibly remote location. King Edward very deliberately styled himself as the heir to the throne of Arthur. So in 1278, he and Eleanor attended a reburial ceremony at Glastonbury of the bones of King Arthur and Guinevere, which the monks had discovered. He reburied the bones of King Arthur's great-great-grandfather, who was a Roman who arrived in Carnarvon. I mean, there's this whole legend about that, which I've talked about in other videos. He took King Arthur's crown from Llywelyn's palace at Aber. He spent his 45th birthday at a lake in Snowdonia, because that is the place where Excalibur was supposedly thrown in the Lady of the Lake and all of that. He chose Nevin because Gerald of Wales, who actually we're going to talk about in a later video, who was a Welsh monk from the 12th century, claimed to have discovered Merlin's writings at Nevin. So there's all of this King Arthur stuff associated with this round table tournament that King Edward put on. One of the fun parts of this book as well is sort of, I won't give it away, but you can imagine, for those of you who've read Crouchback, how Rhys and Catherine feel about King Edward's appropriation of Arthur. Chevalier releases on November 24th, 2020. It is available in paperback and ebook at all retailers, and it will be coming also in audio and hardback after the 24th. Next week, we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. If you like this video, click on the playlist or subscribe to my channel. There'll be a new video next week. And if you want to check out my books, click on the link to my webpage.